In just a few hours, the House is set to vote on that bill that would force the Justice Department to release the case files on accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The bill is expected to pass the House by a wider margin than originally thought. Speaker Johnson now saying he will vote for the measure after President Trump himself reversed course and called for Republicans to support it. The legislation would require the DOJ release all unclassified records, documents, and other materials related to the federal sex trafficking investigation into Epstein. He died by suicide in 2019 as he was awaiting trial. This morning, survivors of Epstein's abuse, many of them holding photos of their younger selves, spoke outside the Capitol.
This is me at 16 when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
I know everybody sees us today as grown adults, but we are fighting for the children that were abandoned and left behind in the reckoning. This is who you're fighting for. This is who Congress is fighting for. This is who the House of Representatives are fighting for, and hopefully the Senate will fight for us too.
I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment.
Well, NewsNation's Joe Khalil is live for us there on Capitol Hill. So, Joe, the survivors say today's vote is about justice and accountability.
Yeah, and look, there are two real pieces to this. One is going to be the sort of political process and what happens to this discharge petition, this vote, after it passes the House. The other piece of this is just how heavy and emotional the material is, the testimony is from these victims, from these survivors telling their stories, many of them holding up pictures, as you showed, of how old they were, their teenage selves, when they were victimized, trafficked, and worse by Jeffrey Epstein and those who were close to Jeffrey Epstein. So a lot of emotion today ahead of what is going to be an incredibly important vote. I want to play just one more bit from one of the survivors' family members. Actually, this is the brother of Virginia Giuffre. She's one of the first victims of Jeffrey Epstein to come forward publicly and to have told her story. She took her own life a few years ago, but before she did, again, as a vocal survivor, her brother today was telling the story about how she was hoping that her story would have an impact on other young people, on potential women, to avoid themselves falling into the same pitfalls that she fell into. And this is, I think, the most emotional part of what he said here. And I can just tell you that several survivors behind him, and even those that you're not going to see on camera here, were all very emotional listening to his retelling of the story of his sister. Take a listen here.
I'm making a small dent in this big world we live in. Well, sissy, you didn't just make a small dent. You made a monumental impact.
I can tell you that I saw literally Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene wiping a tear from her face when she was listening to Virginia Giuffre's brother there. And by the way, all of the survivors who spoke thanked her specifically because of the fact that she's been getting so much criticism and heat from members of her own party and including the president. But she has not wavered in that effort. And virtually all the victims, again, that came out and spoke gave her that acknowledgement. We also heard from Congressman Ro Khanna and Congressman Thomas Massie. They were the ones leading this effort to get this bill onto the floor. They had to do so by getting around Speaker Johnson, who did not want to put this bill on the floor, through what they call a discharge petition. So it took extra hurdles for them to actually get this vote. We expect today it's going to have a lot of support. I talked to Massie about President Trump's role obviously very publicly, the president shifted his position. He was trying to effectively kill this effort just a couple days ago. Just late Sunday, he announced on social media he was on board and said he wanted Republicans to vote for it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.